Hi guys, it's Aisling back again to talk to you about my third exercise in this vlog series of Pilates exercises called the Pilates Side Kick. It's a really nice exercise for rotational stability, as well as, again, helping low back pain and outer hip pain, or what's called lateral hip pain, and can also be a really nice exercise for runners when it comes to pelvic stability as well. So we're going to start off by lying on our sides. So I just want to go through a base level or prep level of this exercise first, because if you already have some outer hip pain, chances are if you go straight into the normal level 1 of the exercise, it may aggravate this pain in the same way that if you go straight to clams or something, again, it may aggravate the outer hip pain. So I think first of all, you want to make sure that you can do it at this level. So basically, you're going to lie down on your side and place a couple of pillows between your legs. So I'm just using a few rolled up yoga mats. So I'm going to place the top arm underneath my head in line with my body. So my back and my head and my arm are all in a straight line. I've slightly brought my rib cage in, so I'm not sticking my chest out and arching my back. My ribs are down, my ribs are in. And my feet are just a little bit behind my body when they're bent, or when the knees are bent. So there's about a sort of 20-ish degree angle at the hips there, just so that they're not too far forwards, they're a little bit further back. And then if you straighten out that top leg onto the pillows, you can either have your top hand either resting lightly on the mat in front of you, or you can have it resting on your leg. Think a little bit about trying to create just a small gap on your lower waist there. So to do this, you want to just think about pushing that top hip away from you slightly. It just realigns the spine from the back rather than letting it sink into this banana shape. So if we create that gap, top hip away, and then the idea is that you're just going to lift, just gently lift or float that top leg, keeping it in line with the body. Now, you're not going to lift it completely off the pillows, it's just so that it becomes lighter on the pillows. And you want to be able to hold this position for 45 seconds at a time and repeat that 3 times, or really try and work up to 45 seconds 3 times. You can also make this a little bit harder as well by just externally rotating the leg, so it turns the foot and the knee outwards. Again, you're not lifting the leg completely off the pillows, it's just lifting slightly off of them so that it becomes light on them. And then again, trying to hold this position 45 seconds, 3 times. It just works things a little bit further around towards the back of the glutes rather than just on the sides. So for the first level of the actual side kick, we actually start to introduce movement. So rather than the previous exercise, the prep level, which is more of what we call an isometric contraction, where it's that baseline conditioning of the muscles where you're just holding a position and using the muscles that way. This one we're actually going to move the leg whilst we're working the muscles. So we're thinking about the same positioning before we set up. Arm underneath your head. You can, if you want, have a pillow underneath your head or a couple of cushions, and have the arms in front of you like this, making sure the head and the neck is in a neutrally aligned position. But if shoulders are okay, then you can place your head on one arm like this. Arm, neck, upper back and lower back all in a straight line. Feet a little bit behind you with the knees bent. We're thinking about pushing that top hip slightly away, so we've got a little bit of a gap underneath the lower waist. And then we can just rest the hand in front to begin with. So hand down in front just gives us a little bit more stability. We're not leaning on it, but we're just having it there for a little bit of balance. So before we start, we're going to gently switch on those lower abdominal muscles. Take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, we're going to lift that top leg to hip height, keeping the knee and the foot at hip height as well. So you're not letting the knee drop or the foot drop. So everything is staying at hip height there. Hold it there as you breathe in. Then as you breathe out, the whole leg comes forwards, and then breathe in and the whole leg goes backwards. So breathing out, the leg comes forwards. Breathing in, leg goes backwards.
So the idea is that the leg is staying at this height the whole time, as though you're just sliding your leg along a coffee table or something that's just resting in front of you right there. So just making sure that you're not letting the knee or the foot drop. As well, we're thinking about keeping your lower back and your pelvis still, essentially. So we're not letting the back arch as you bring the leg behind you, the same way that we're not letting the back bend the other way as the leg comes forwards. So we're just keeping everything in a nice, straight, neutrally aligned position, and that gap underneath the waist as well, whilst you're breathing. And then we can just let the leg lower down to relax. So for the second level, we're going to straighten out the top leg. And essentially this is just creating a longer lever, so it's making everything work a little bit harder. The leg is in a straight line in line with the rest of your body, so make sure it's not coming too far forwards. Again, it's not going too far backwards and arching your back, it's in a nice line with your body. Pelvis is still in neutral, still got that gap between the lower waist, that top hip is slightly pushed away. Again, hand on the floor if you want that little bit of extra stability. Take a breath in before you start. Breathe out, engage those lower abdominals and lift the leg up straight. Breathe in and hold it there. Then breathe out, pointing the toe, bring the leg forwards, keeping it straight, keeping it hip height. Breathe in, flex the foot and take the leg behind you. Breathe out, point the toes, leg comes forward. Breathe in, flex the foot, leg goes behind. Breathe out, point the toes, leg comes forwards. Breathe in, flex the foot, leg goes behind. Again, really important that you're watching that spinal, that pelvic position, so you're not letting your lower back arch. You're just keeping it all in a nice still position. It's just the leg and the hip that are moving, keeping it at that hip height. You can vary it in this position by just, again, turning the leg outwards. So exactly the same thing with the foot and the leg. So you're pointing the toe with the foot turned outwards as the leg comes forwards. Flex the foot, but the leg is still turned outwards as it goes behind you. So it's just working those posterior fibres of your glutes a little bit more. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can just rest that top arm on your hips, on your top leg like that, or resting it on your hips, and it just takes away that other element of stability there. And for a little bit more of a challenge, level 3, similar to level 2, so the leg is straight, but the bottom leg is straight also. So it's just reducing your base of support, how much stability you've got. So again, breathing in before you start, engaging the lower abdominals, breathing out as you lift the leg. The same thing applies with the foot. So you point the toes as the leg comes forwards, flex the foot as the leg goes backwards. You may find that in this position, you have slightly less range of movement, so you're not able to take the leg quite as far forwards or backwards because of the reduced stability that having your body all in this one straight line provides you with. But it's just another nice challenge. But the main thing with these exercises with the side kick is that you really want to just make sure you're doing quality, not quantity. So if you can't do many reps, that's fine. Just work with whatever you can do whilst you're able to keep all those key elements in check. But I hope that's been useful. Another nice exercise idea for strengthening around the pelvis. Again, as I say, nice for runners. And I will be back again next time with the leg pull in prone exercise. All right, so see you then. Cheers.